Richard was eating a cheap corn cob when he got a great business idea. His son was making noises repeatedly while eating the hot corn cob but still kept saying, "I like this spicy taste." Richard realized that people around him were crazy about spicy things. He decided he'd make hot chips and become a millionaire. One day he bought lots of chip packets. Seeing this, his wife grew worried. How would she manage rent and rations this month? Everything could be at risk. But instead of giving up, she decided to support Richard again. Now, the two of them started buying different chilies and testing them, but the sauce they made only had a burning sensation. No flavor. He wanted to capture the same taste as in roasted corn cobs. The company's R&D department was also working, but Richard believed the real taste would come only from daisy chilies and traditional methods. They built rolling drum-like machines and found the right chili and chip combination. Finally, a perfect spice mix was made. But then came bad news. Layoffs had started at the factory, and no one cared what Richard had to say. One supervisor even said, "Just clean, don't overthink." But Richard didn't lose courage. He called the company's CEO directly, who was in Italy at the time. He introduced himself as a cleaning technician and somehow got through. Richard and his wife prepared a sample together and sent it to the CEO. A few days later, the CEO arrived at the factory himself. Officers were shocked who called him. When they learned Richard had spoken directly, he was scolded in front of everyone. People said if the CEO dislikes the idea, the factory might close. Richard's courage faltered. When he went home and told everything, his wife made him stand in front of the mirror and said, "I'm still with you because I trust you. Don't underestimate yourself." She taught Richard business, had him write a good speech, and told him how to act in front of the CEO. But when the CEO came again, Richard was determined to speak from his heart no matter what. When someone asked about market share, Richard didn't know but explained in his own way. The CEO liked his honesty, passion and wisdom. The CEO immediately decided to invest in the product. Flame and hot chips started being made, but initially there were no buyers. Packets gathered dust on shelves. Richard was sad. Then his son said, "People don't even know what this is. We have to promote it ourselves." Richard called his old friends who once sold shampoo to bald people. Together they distributed chips to shops, schools and on streets to show the crowd. They even became customers themselves. Soon demand for Flame and hot chips skyrocketed. The CEO called and said, "Now the target is 5 million boxes." The factory ran day and night. In 6 months, the factory broke all previous records. Richard's mentor asked, "What have you become now?" Richard smiled and said, "I'm still a cleaner. I just wanted to fix machines." But one day when he went to mop an office, the CEO was waiting for him. The CEO said, "I'm from an ordinary family too. If I'd given up on my dreams, I wouldn't be here. Dreams are important, and supporting them is even more so." Then the CEO made Richard the company's marketing director. The entire factory erupted in applause. Richard called his wife first.